Deadly MK11 characters, brutal 3v3 combat, difficult challenges, multiplayer faction wars, jaw-dropping fatalities.
Scorpion wins. Fatality.
Looking for all these bewildering features in one place? Here comes an all-in-one game at your disposal, Mortal Kombat. WB Games recently confirmed that Mortal Kombat 11 has sold over 12 million copies worldwide so far. Having said that, it certainly appears that Mortal Kombat is the best-selling fighting game franchise ever, which is even more impressive when you consider that it was nowhere close to dethroning Super Smash Bros. But before we move on, let us know some basic info about this breathtaking game. An American series of video games, it is originally developed by Midway Games. It is a science fantasy-themed fighting game which took its first step on October 8, 1992. It has a well-made reputation, all thanks to its high levels of graphic violence and its fatalities, which clearly are the finishing moves that end the match once and for all. The setup of this game is a fictional universe consisting of 18 surviving realms created by the Elder Gods. Some of these are Earthrealm, Netherrealm, Outworld, Sido, the Realm of Chaos, and the last one is Edenia, where each one has its special trait to stand out. Now let's check out these 15 surprising facts about Mortal Kombat. Number 1. 4 brisk masterminds. Yes, that's right, this game is the result of 4 central persons who put their blood, sweat, and hard work into this game and completed it in mere 10 months. Ed Boon, a programmer at Midway Games, known for having an arguing nature, teamed up with a comic book artist, John Tobias, to conceive and create a fighting arcade game and accomplish their task in 10 months. After that, they joined hands with John Vogel, an artist, and Ken Forden, a sound designer, to give it the finishing touch. Number 2. A game inspired by a movie. Bingo! It's one of those games. Tobias reported that the game development was put into action when the producers of the hit movie Universal Soldier proposed to Midway Games to create a game based on the movie. But Midway Games played it smart and licensed Jean-Claude Van Damme independently, making a plucky game more like Van Damme's Bloodsport. And with time, the martial arts tournament was shifted to the fictional planet Earthrealm.
We'll travel to the mystical realm of Outworld.
Number 3. Jean-Claude Van Damme nailed it. As just the idea of the movie was not enough, Midway Games extracted its full market value as Van Damme's persona was an epitome of action movies at that time. They did so by modeling popular Mortal Kombat playable character Johnny Cage in appearance, backstory, and personality as a notoriously narcissistic Hollywood actor. Even his name initials are after Van Damme. Number 4. Big Trouble in Little China gets the credit. Kudos to the villains in the 1986 John Carpenter movie. We have such an amazing cast playing to our fingertips in the game. The game's thunder god, Raiden, is visually inspired by the movie's assassin trio, the Three Storms, while the Mortal Kombat boss Shang Tsung resembles the film's big bad sorcerer Lo Pan. The designer of the game, Tobias, expressed that these resemblances were an homage to Big Trouble in Little China because the premise of both the movie and the game was a kind of mashup between a mythological Eastern world and a Western world that is more grounded in reality. Number 5. Naming it was really tedious. It took full 6 months to come up with an incontestable and cogent name. Mortal Kombat didn't have a name for more than half of the development period. Every suggestion was allegedly detested by at least one of the 4 masterminds. Some of them were Kumite, a term used for a hand-based section of karate training, Dragon Attack, Death Blow, and Fatality. Number 6. Pinball and Steve saved the day. As naming the game was a real hassle, pinball and game designer Steve Ritchie, a friend of Boone's, solved it diligently by suggesting Mortal Kombat as the name on a whim upon catching a glance of a misspelled combat on the latter's drawing board during a visit to his office. Number 7. Un jeu de célébrité. Just about every character in the original Mortal Kombat game was derived from a motion capture performance by one of 5 actors with impressive resumes. Korean-American actor Ho Sung Pak played both game hero Liu Kang and Big Boss Shang Tsung. England-born Elizabeth Malecki played Sonya Blade, Chicagoan Richard DeVizio played Kano, Carlos Pacina played Raiden. The latter's older brother Dan got the lion's share, portraying Johnny Cage, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Reptile. Even the game's 4 creators had a role, playing the corpses lining the pit bottom level. Out of these, Ho Sung had the most extensive filmography experience from the bunch, with well-known titles including The Legend of Drunken Master, Epic of Lotus, Alone in the Dark, and the 2012 remake of Red Dawn. Number 8. Only one Mortal Kombat character wasn't portrayed by a live actor. In contrast to his human-portrayed counterparts, the Big Boss Goro, a four-armed human-dragon hybrid inspired by the lore of Sinbad the Sailor, was the result of stop-motion photography of a clay figure designed by sculptor Kurt Chiarelli. Number 9. Liu Kang was not the first choice. Earlier drafts of the Mortal Kombat hero designed him as a Japanese warrior called Minamoto Yoshitsune. Tobias told Electric Gaming Monthly in 1995 that the name didn't feel right, so they opted for a much shorter name, Liu Kang. Tell us in the comments section which name sounds better. Number 10. Mortal Kombat's debut was one of the biggest video game launches of its time. This game demonstrates a perfect example of fast and efficient efforts. Despite the minimal time and resources invested into the game's development, the size of its launch was a big success. A year after it became an upright arcade game, Mortal Kombat came to us via 4 home systems: Nintendo, Super NES, Game Boy, Sega Enterprises, Sega Genesis, Game Gear. September 13, 1993 is remembered as Mortal Kombat Day, a day in which all 4 versions of the game were released and heavily marketed. Number 11. Every version of it is unique in itself. Each home version of the game is marked by a few or more pick-out features. The Nintendo variations omitted the presence of blood entirely, replacing it with sweat, and also cut down the percentage of violence, whereas the Sega games allowed access to these gorier features, though only via cheat code.
To my brothers, I never lied. Call me bird dog 'cause I...
Number 12. Phil Collins is the key. That's right, the cheat code needed to allow the presence of blood and gore in the Sega Genesis variation of the game is ABACABB. Want to know why only this? Here's an answer. This combination of letters is a reference to Abacab, the 1981 album of Phil Collins' rock band Genesis.
I was strapped when I slid inside your boo thing.
Number 13. The Mortal Kombat soundtrack is not as simple as it sounds. Following the grand release of Mortal Kombat, Belgian musicians Maurice Engelin and Olivier Adams were given an offer to develop an album to accompany the game. Though being members of Lords of Acid, they both branched off and created the Immortals for this assignment. The Immortals compositions were featured in the game's marketing, its sequels, and also the 1995 Mortal Kombat movie.
When it's time to battle, they don't never ever show. When it's time to battle, I'm the first one at the door. Here we go.
Number 14. The path was not all smooth and silky for the game. Connecticut Senator and future vice presidential candidate Joseph Lieberman took a stand against gory video games like this at the Washington, D.C. press conference on December 1, 1993. He dissented, saying, "Violent video games may become the Cabbage Patch Dolls of the 1993 holiday season," referring to the toy's popularity. But Cabbage Patch Dolls never oozed blood, and kids weren't taught to rip off their heads. We're talking about video games that glorify violence and teach children to enjoy inflicting the most gruesome forms of cruelty imaginable. To add to the impact of his protest, the conference also featured the support of Bob Keeshan, commonly known as Captain Kangaroo. It felt like a complete setup, though. Number 15. The controversy proved as a helping hand to the ESRB rating system. The public backlash to Mortal Kombat was so prominent that the game industry oversaw the formation of the Entertainment Software Rating Board, or ESRB, the agency that handles the matters relating to the age appropriateness for titles based on violence and adult content. It has been a mainstay in gaming since 1994. That was an excellent elope. These were some interesting facts about your favorite game, Mortal Kombat. So tell us in the comments section below which Mortal Kombat fact was new to you. Also like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more interesting videos. See you on the next one!